Okay, so today we're taking notes on finding a percent of a number. Make sure you have your name and your date on top of your notes, so when you submit them, you'll get full credit. Also, remember that we're using the proportions part over whole equals percent over 100 as one way to solve these. So it says a percent is equivalent to the ratio of a part of a whole. If you remember, equivalent means equal to. To find a percent of a number, so we're trying to find a percent of a number, you can write a ratio to represent the percent, and we always write percent as over 100, and find an equivalent ratio that compares the part to the whole. So the problem is to find 30% of 400, we can use two different ways. The first way would be proportional reasoning. The second way for this type of problem would be multiplication. So if we take our 30%, we can write that as 30 over 100. And then we have our other side of a proportion where we have this is our whole, which is 400, because if you remember, we have is over of, and our of is our whole. And we're looking for our part, or our is. And now that we set this up, we have three things, we can find the fourth. 100 times 4 is 400, so that means that 30 times 4 would be 120. That's our is, that's our part. Alright, another way we can do that is multiplication, because if you remember, the word of can mean to multiply. And we already know that 30%, to change 30% to a decimal, we can divide, okay, so that's the same thing as 30 over 100, so it's 30 divided by 100. And when we divide by 100, that's going to move our decimal space, our decimal 2 spaces to the left. So we're basically moving it 2 spaces to the left. So that's going to give us 30 hundredths. And then we already have 400, so basically it's 30 hundredths times 4 hundredths. And if you remember, when we multiply decimals, we multiply like there's no decimal at the end, we move the decimal space. In this case, we're going to move it 2 spaces to the left, and your answer should be 120. Okay, so here are 3 other problems that I want you to do. The first one would be 38% of 50. The next one would be 27% of 300, and then 60% of 75. So go ahead and pause the video and calculate these, and we'll see what your answers are. For this one, you should have gotten 19. This one should be 81. This one should have been 45.